Hello friends, I am Mukund Joshi here again and I welcome you back in our video series AAC Blocks in 2 minutes. So in this 2 to 3 minutes of short videos, we bring about some aspect of AAC block production or about properties of AAC blocks, and then we discuss it quickly and try to reinforce the most important aspect about that particular video. So today we are going to discuss about how to test the AAC blocks to find out their dry density. You would say it is such a simple thing to work out the dry density, isn't it? Our IAS code 2185 part 3 has given us several classes of dry densities that we are allowed to manufacture and the corresponding strengths for that density class. But the most common in India is 551 kg to 650 kgs per meter cube. So 99.9% of AAC blocks sold in India are under this density class, 551 to 650 kgs per meter cube. So imagine you are there on the site and you receive a truckload of the blocks, and now you want to check the dry density whether it meets the Indian standard or not. If you take the block out from a truck and check the weight and find out the density, it will be always on the higher side because of the inherent moisture content inside the block. Therefore, the IS code is very particular. It says dry density of AAC blocks, which should be between 551 to 650 value. So how do you do it? You have to take the block, cut it into a particular size, 200 by 100 by 50 mm, and then put it in the oven. But for how long? Because AAC blocks do not have capillary action. So neither they do absorb the water very quickly, nor do they release the water very quickly. So you have to keep that sample for a long period of time till there is no decrease in the weight from moisture loss. So you keep it in the oven, temperature is 105 degrees centigrade for a very long period, at least 36 hours. Then during this time, all the moisture goes away and then you can check the dry density. But imagine the truck is standing there on the side, and how you will find it? The driver is not going to wait for 36 hours for you to complete the test. Many a times on sites, what happens is the lab technician, under this time pressure, just takes the sample out within an hour or two, and he never gets that reading of below 650 kg density. So sometimes he rejects the blocks, he calls the supplier and says that the blocks are rejected. And then there is a fight between the vendor and the client. So we need to have patience. We need to keep the blocks in the oven for a long period of time, 36 hours, to get the true value of dry density. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis? As I said, the driver is not going to wait. You can have some correlation. You will know that if the density of wet blocks that you have received on the site is between 750 to 800, most of the time it will pass the dry density test. So based on that weight, you can unload the consignment and parallelly you can do the test of dry density. So remember, 36 hours. You need to keep the sample for 36 hours to ensure that you get the correct dry density value. Okay friends, see you again in some other video next time. Bye.